Good morning to all of you, and welcome to Capital Mutual IFA 2017. It's always a pleasure to see old friends, and it's even a bigger pleasure to welcome some of us who've come from long distances. There are people here today who've come from Pondicherry, who've come from Hajipur, who've come from Bardoli, and many other places I'd never heard of earlier. Welcome to all of you. Friends, this is the 4th edition of Capital Mutual IFA conference, and never has it been held at a time of such unbridled optimism. SIP inflows are coming in, mutual funds are getting more popular, and just last evening I came to know that the AUM of the mutual fund industry is very close to 18 lakh crores. It is 17.83 lakh crores to be more precise. And I'm sure by the end of this month, that figure should be crossing 18 lakh crores. So what does that mean? That means big opportunities for us. So how does that translate into this event? How it translates into this event is, the theme for today's event is charting your own growth course. So today, we will have 23 speakers over 19 sessions sharing their expertise. So I urge you all to make the most of it. Finally, friends, the mission of Capital Mutual has always been to give news, knowledge, insights to you so that you can grow your business, so that you can help millions of Indian investors make better investment choices. Towards that mission, we've launched another foray. We've just launched a book called Best of Capital Mutual, Smart Ideas for IFAs to Grow Their Business. So there's a stall outside. Do take a look at the book, and I hope you find that book useful. Finally, friends, we have a lovely lineup of speakers. Make the most of it. And as my friend Janvi said, we hope to keep the proceedings of the event running on time. There are many of us who have come from outside, who have flights, trains, and buses to take do help us by coming back on time. We've set aside 100 minutes for you to network. So there is one break, lunch break of 60 minutes, and 2 coffee breaks of 20 minutes each. So do go around, meet old friends, make new ones, but do come back on time. With this, I wish you all the best for the day, and I hope you have a terrific time. And I will be your first speaker. Okay. Thank you. Friends, ever since I was introduced to financial services, which was actually 33 years back, I've been fascinated by people who advise people on money. Over this career of 33 years, I've come in touch with thousands of people, bankers, relationship managers, advisors. Earlier, they used to be called agents. Always fascinated by what they do, how they pitch their business. When I started Capital Mutual, this turned into a mission. And I said, can I do something which can distill this knowledge for the IFA community? So here's my attempt at it. Here's my go at how do you grow your business 5x in 5 years. So are you ready? Great. So it's very simple. I have a formula. The formula says 5M's is equal to 5X. What is the first M? It's mindset. It's motivation. It's self-belief. Mansikta. Second X is mastery. Mastery is what we call domain knowledge, and more importantly to me, the way we conduct our business. Third X is management skills. It is how we organize, how we plan, how we take decisions, how we staff, how we use our resources. Fourth X is marketing. So what goes into acquisition of clients? 5X is maintenance. Maintenance is how do we ensure that the business keeps running smoothly, and how do we ensure that, more importantly, that we retain the clients that we have. More on this a little later. Mindset. To me, it's a mix of just two simple things. One is rational conviction. So, what are the facts, the real facts that kind of make us believe that yes, there is something solid which is going to propel our growth. The second is actually the more important, which is the attitude. The first one is actually just 10%. And that I assume all of you know. I just mentioned 2 minutes back that the industry AUM is close to 18 lakh crores. And this has been done, this growth has been achieved in a relatively short span of time, particularly over the last 5 years. I'm sure all of you are convinced that you're in a good industry. But what about the attitude? It is beliefs about what you do. So do you believe that you do something which is useful to society? Do you believe that do you use your expertise, your experience to help investors make and reach their investment goals? Or do you believe that this is just another career? Mutual funds, there are so many people who don't like them, and so I'm perhaps in the wrong job. So what is the belief that you hold about what you do matters a lot. The second important belief is what you believe you can achieve in this field. Fine, the mutual fund industry can grow from 18 lakh crores to maybe 36 lakh crores in maybe 2 years, who knows. But do you believe that you can be a part of that progress? The third belief is, if you believe that you can be a part of that progress, what is it which is required for you to reach that particular goal? So summing up, there are basically 3 beliefs. Beliefs about what you do, beliefs about what you feel you can achieve, and beliefs about the means to reach that particular goal. Friends, a lot of our conviction comes from what I call our approach in life. And for IFA community, I thought this would be a very pertinent point. So there is something I called a professional attitude, and there's something I called an amateurish approach. So let's see what are the traits of behavior which distinguish amateurs from professionals. The professional says that he has a plan. The amateur leaves it Ram Bharose. Bhagwan hai, dekh lega. The professional is focused on the future. The amateur dwells in the past. Okay? These were good old days when people used to queue up. For those of you who were dealing with UTI products in 80s and 90s, more often than not, it were the investors who were coming to you rather than the other way around. The professional acts. He has a bias for action. So not only does he plan, not only is he focused on the future, he has a bias for action. The amateur procrastinates. So procrastinate means simply delaying something, self-gratification, not doing what is required of you immediately. The professional is learning constantly, and the amateur is always making excuses. I'm too old, I'm too smart, hamare din lag gaye, I'm too busy. The professional sells solutions. The amateur sells products. The professional is focused on clients. The amateur is focused on transactions. Okay? The next slide is perhaps the most important in my entire presentation today. Okay? I want you to look at each of the 4 points which come and tell yourself whether It's a yes or a no for you. Do you have a vision or a goal? Do you have a business plan? Do you have the infrastructure or the team in place? And finally, do you have the expertise? It's important for us to reflect on these points. Okay. Next point is related to what I call mastery. Okay. Over the last 20, 30 years, the focus has predominantly been on what I call product knowledge. Okay. So, the focus has been predominant for obvious reasons. When a new product category is introduced in a market, when a market is not sophisticated enough, the people who are dealing with these products themselves need to have product knowledge. But today, I'm assuming that most of us have crossed that phase. Today, I'm assuming that most of you know what products you represent, most of you understand them very well. But today, perhaps the need to focus is on business development. How do we really acquire clients? Okay. In the past, we've been dependent on market booms for our growth. If you analyze the growth of the mutual fund industry, till 2008, it was predominantly linked directly to the state of the capital markets. So if the markets were booming, most of the inflows came in that point of time. There used to be closed-end funds, which used to be supported by a lot of advertising and lots of publicity, lots of incentives for you. So that is how the industry grew till 2008. So whether it was 92, 94, 99, 2000, or whether it was 2005, 2008. It was largely a spate of open NFOs which drove the growth. But today, when you go to acquire clients, you need to develop a separate set of skills altogether. And not only relationship management, and also how do you acquire clients. The third M is management. What is management? Essentially, planning for your business. It's about organizing your resources, manpower, and execution. Okay. I will dwell for a couple of minutes on what I consider to be a very important aspect for any professional or a businessman, which is having your own business plan. Okay, what are the components, according to me, of a business plan? It is having a vision, having a goal. A vision is broader. Vision is what inspires you. Vision is what you wake up every morning for. Goal is what you set out to or your office to achieve every day. Second is a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, a lot of you would be familiar with it, which is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths are the strengths which come from within you, which is based on your expertise, what you've achieved so far. The weaknesses are the areas where you need to improve. Opportunities are what lie in the environment. Okay. So at this moment of time, what is an opportunity for all of you is the fact that a lot of popular investment categories seem to be in a state of decline. Physical assets don't seem to enjoy the kind of popularity that they were enjoying so far in India. So that's the opportunity for you. And threat, I leave it to you, for you to decide how it applies to you. An important part of any business plan is to define your target market. None of us have infinite resources to work on. All of us work within very limited means. So it is important for us to choose which markets, which segments, which people to go after, rather than make this entire universe our potential market. What is your value proposition? What is the value that you are adding to your clients for which they should reward you with repeated business? A very important part now is that today you have to be driving business rather than business coming to you. So how do you reach out to prospects? When you have a business plan, you need to have activities and programs to turn these plans into reality. You need to work within budgets, have a timeline, and obviously, no business plan will ever run the way it was meant to be. No business plan ever runs for any corporation anywhere in the world that way. All of us need to keep making course corrections. The fourth M is marketing. Now here I come to a very pet theme of mine these days. I find that over a period of time, being exposed to different markets, I find that in India, we have perhaps not realized the futility of going after all kinds of clients. I feel that a lot of IFAs today chase clients without any strategy. I believe that we need to define the markets that we need to go after. Why? Because I believe that it will lead to lower acquisition costs. If I know I'm going after doctors, I don't need to waste time with lawyers. Once I decide to develop a market among doctors, I can understand the psychology of doctors well, I can understand their lifestyles well, I can understand their attitudes well, I can serve them better. If I can serve them better, that means I can retain them. I will have a higher market share because I'll have a much closer relationship with them, and economies of scale. If I'm going after the same market, I will hopefully over a period of time become better at acquiring clients in that particular market, and it will lead to higher productivity for me in future. The second thing is branding. 6 years back when I started Cafe Mutual, I was conducting a training program for one of the AMCs. So there I actually conducted this exercise. I asked the IFAs, I told the IFAs in the audience that one of my friends was shifting from Dubai to Mumbai. One of my friends was shifting from Dubai to Mumbai, and I needed to, can anyone help me? I just think, oh, I got it, thanks. So, a friend of mine was shifting from Dubai to Mumbai, and I wanted him to have the benefit of an advisor. So, I asked them to write on a piece of paper, in a single line why I should recommend them. So, I asked each one of them, so the chits of paper came back to me. 60% of them had the same answer. Okay? And can you guess what was the answer? Service. So, my contention is service a differentiator? And if 60% of the people have the same proposition, why should anyone come to you? Okay? So, my contention is that as professionals, all of us are brands. We are already brands. We may be strong brands, we may be weak brands, we may be known brands, we may be unknown brands, but we are brands, whether we like it or not. So, why don't we invest in our own reputation? Why don't we reflect a little more deeply in what is it that we do, which the gentleman sitting next to us can't? Okay? To me, what is the basic magic formula for IFAs? First of all, competence. As investment advisor, obviously we need to have domain knowledge, we need to have expertise. The second thing is trust. Again, goes without saying that trust will be a very key component of what we do. The third, I feel, is empathy. Okay? There's a great disconnect at times between what the client wants from us and what we want to give from him. Perhaps a better understanding of his motivations, his drives would help us connect a lot better with him. So empathy is next one. And there's so much of clutter and jargon related to capital markets, there's so much of noise. As IFAs, I think you can demystify and clarify those things. Okay. So what is your value proposition? I believe that your value proposition is both a mix of tangibles and intangibles. Tangibles, we already know, you people give advice, you make plans for your clients, you help them in investment selection, and the last one is logistics and paperwork. Intangibles, empathy, understanding, handholding during moments of crisis, and paying attention to your clients, what your clients are saying. I come to the last M, which is maintenance. Like I said, maintenance has two components according to me. One is client engagement. Retaining an existing client is far more profitable than getting a new client. Do we have the systems in place to ensure that we are constantly connected to our clients? Do we have a system which checks how many meetings we are having with them, how many times are we sending them their portfolio statements, what frequency, and so on. Understand your clients, stay connected. The last one is investing in robust back-end processes so that your business keeps running smoothly. So summing up, it's very simple. Big opportunities await us. Instead of waiting for things to happen, make things happen. Invest in creating a powerful brand for yourself. Focused marketing is the key to success. Finally, master the 5 M's. So with this, I come to the end of this presentation.
Thank you, Prem, for that brilliant session. We have one question. Sorry, I'll just grab that for you. We have one question from the audience. I can actually just narrate that to you. How practical are your tips? Is the question from the audience.
Hey, that's a tricky one. But actually, it's a very simple one. All the things that I've said in today's presentation have been done, have been tested by me or someone I know. So none of these are abstract academic stuff. This is not Google. This is not a textbook presentation. This is all based on what other IFAs have taught me and what I have learned from my own success as an entrepreneur. So all of it is practical. I actually conduct a session which is a more detailed one. It's a 3-hour session. I've been doing it for DHFL Pramerica for a few days. So it's a much more detailed one. And obviously, all the activities, things which are listed there have been, I vouch for the practicality, application, and effectiveness for everything there. Anything else? Thank you so much. And have a lovely day.